Hello, friends. I hope you have a good day today. Today I want to talk about the word root, the root of every human being's beliefs. Perhaps the biggest mistake a psychotherapist makes is that they consider every client's behavior to be the result of the client's own conscious choice. What is said in effective psychotherapy and constitutes the principle of this psychotherapy is exactly this root, and this is what makes effective psychotherapy effective. Our big mistake in psychotherapy is that instead of following the roots of beliefs in the client's surroundings and past, we search for these roots in the client himself, and think that these beliefs that he has chosen have occurred by the client's conscious and conscious will. This is not true. And perhaps the level of consciousness that the individual had to choose these wrong beliefs was very, very low, and the individual did not like these beliefs. But now what happened that he did not like this, and it has formed in our client's personality again, which we will talk about in another clip called How the Roots of Destructive Beliefs Are Formed. But most of the pressures that came to the client came from the authorities, and the authorities who accepted it under extreme pressure, and why they still continue to do so, is using defense mechanisms and pressures from the same sources of power. The defense mechanisms of changing reality are that the individual uses various methods to distort reality to avoid the pain resulting from that reality so that he can accept that destructive belief that is less painful. These beliefs can have arisen even several generations ago and even from an ethnicity or a religion that has reached our clients. An example that I always give to my clients is that I say that you are obsessed, and they say yes. I say your mother is too. They say yes. I say your grandmother is obsessed too, and they say yes. Then I examine their common destructive beliefs with the clients, and the clients are very surprised by how many common beliefs they have. Here two very scary points arise. First, are these disorders the result of genetics or the result of physical changes? You know what I tell my clients in these situations? I say, okay. We do not deny that the cause of your disorders is physical or genetic, but we should eliminate your destructive beliefs. You know, the interesting thing is that by eliminating destructive beliefs, clients start to get better and continue treatment. Questions or problems that were raised for previous generations, and because they were too heavy and that generation could not solve them, they have built destructive beliefs in themselves and passed them on to the next generation with defense mechanisms. Of course, as those resources weaken, the power of those destructive beliefs is lost from generation to generation. The story I always tell is that a lady and a gentleman had just married, and the lady cut off the tail and head of a fish to fry it. Then the gentleman wonders why she did that. The lady says, I don't know. I learned it from my mother. Then they go to their husband's mother and tell her, "Why do you do that?" The mother says, "I don't know. My mother used to do that, and I learned it from her." So they go to their grandmother and tell her the story. When the grandmother hears the story, she says, "When we were just married, we were poor and we only had a small frying pan, and I did this to make sure the fish fit in the pan." See how following this false belief led to the destruction of this false belief. This is exactly what we do in effective psychotherapy to get to the root of destructive beliefs. The things that are very powerful in us and our very deep beliefs are the result of this ignorance that is not only not useful for us but also causes us harm. This belief was given to us by the previous generation or by culture or religion or ethnic belief. Let's see what we have to continue to do. See where these destructive beliefs go. We have to find the root as much as possible. The goal of treatment is insight, or the awareness of the person, and that is the main part of my treatment. When the person becomes clear to him why this fish needs its head and tail cut off, and this belief is harming him, he no longer wants this belief. When you get to the root of that main person, who is now your mother, father, or grandfather, analyze their life and determine what happened to them and determine what happened. The many pressures that person faced in the past generation caused this belief and magical behavior that led to obsession. That person's circumstances are different from yours, and they went from bad to worse to this belief. You don't need to have their beliefs at all. And instead of trying to solve the issues in their life properly, because they had little time and were under a lot of pressure, they turned to magical behavior that would help them solve their problem in the short term. But unfortunately, during his life, he did not solve the main problem. And that destructive belief that was useful in the short term was not useful in the long term and was repeated, which caused that obsessive behavior, that depressed thought. So, the thing you must definitely consider is that each person is perhaps 5% conscious of the beliefs they have, and that 95% of the beliefs that the authority figure has transferred to our clients without even knowing it. I have reached the end of the topic of effective psychotherapy. Please subscribe to my channel and share your comments and criticisms with me to improve the channel. Goodbye.